morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from worldwide. I'm Sterling. It's great to have you back on the channel. This show's being recorded for Sunday, June 23rd, 2024. As always, these shows are recorded for entertainment purposes only. All the information I share with you comes directly real time through my guides, angels, extended spiritual counsel, ETs, famous people from history, so for entertainment purposes only. Also, for those who need to reach me, it's very easy. Just go to sterlingpsychicmedium.com. That's our website. Look for the Book a Session tab. And I think there's sessions availability now in January, February, and March of 2025. So very easy to do. Also, for those that want to participate in the live platinum membership streams we do on Friday, easy to join our platinum membership. Just look for the join button on the homepage of YouTube, our YouTube channel, Sterling Psychic Medium, or on the homepage of our website, sterlingpsychicmedium.com. There's a platinum membership link button there. So hopefully that helps. We get questions about that all the time. Been a busy week, had a lot of wonderful sessions with people this week, and did a really nice live with Linda G, the Comanche Psychic, as well on Friday. So that was wonderful to get together. We gather questions from these shows. If you're a first-time watcher of this channel, from our community board, we actually place requests for questions out on Mondays. I think we had like 400 questions again this week. My wife then goes through them and tries to kind of narrow them down to a group of 60, 70, or 80 questions, and I answer them for you real time here. I think today, for today's show, we have 74 questions, so a good group of questions, and always happy to go through these with everybody. So on that note, let's go ahead and start today's show. So question 74 in the countdown. Hi, Sterling and team. I just heard a recording last night where Roger Stone stated they are better prepared to steal the election in 2024, better than they were in 2020. The judges they have in place, federal and local, is the United States still going to be okay with the Democrats winning most of the offices 2024, including presidency? Yeah, I've read on this several times, but I do see Biden is going to be the winner of the next presidential election, November, by popular vote, electoral college vote. And I see a lot of the threats being thrown around. What they're telling me is that they're really kind of, I'm going to completely null and void. They're going to cause some ruckus, but it won't be a capital insurrection. And I don't see, I see a lot of individuals working behind the scenes to counteract what's going on around what Roger Stone is referring to here. So I don't see it as big a threat to democracy as it once could have been. 73, hi Sterling and team. My dog, Buttercup, came down with congestive heart failure very quickly, and I had to put her to sleep. Do our pets know that we are only doing that to help them with the pain? She could not breathe, and it broke my heart to let her go. Does she know how much I love her and miss her? Absolutely. All animals, remember, are out of the angelic realm. So they're not angels, but they're in the angelic realm. They come down with unconditional love. They understand their life path. They understand why they're here. And in really all cases, animals are here to teach us lessons. So, take with you the lessons of the heart, love, compassion that your dog, Buttercup, gave you. But absolutely, she understands because, in some ways, many animals are more highly evolved around the subject of unconditional love than humans are. So they understand there is no death, there is no birth, there's a continuum of life. So, yeah, absolutely, Buttercup understands that. 72, hi, Sterling and team. Are we already living on Mars? How do we get there, and when did we arrive? Who helped us get there? What are they doing there? Are there many ETs? They're there. Where do we live on Mars? Okay, so a lot of questions about Mars here. I talked about this before. Many extraterrestrial groups are allowing scientists to travel back and forth to Mars. So there isn't a lot of installations there for Homo sapiens sapien, which is what we are here. But there are a lot of scientists going back and forth to Mars via extraterrestrial ships, a lot of Palladian. There's also a lot of Greys involved in piloting those ships. So that's how we're getting back and forth to Mars. Within a couple of decades, there will be installations, large installations on Mars. Look, there are some bases there right now that are owned by ETs, but not by Homo sapiens sapien. 71, what can you see for the future of Project 2025? A postal worker wrote in one of the videos warning that there's something wrong at the Postal Service, and he is advising everyone not to mail your vote. but vote in person or drop your vote in a drop box. My question is, does Louis DeJoy plan to interfere with the election process? Yeah, so there's a lot of unscrupulous individuals across the post office as well that are going to try to manipulate the election. It's true. I would say that voting in person is going to be far more effective. I do see, I've talked about this before, a lot of blockchain, distributed ledger technology being implemented around the election to make sure the auditing is done properly of votes. But so there's a lot less to worry about than people are kind of fanning a flame for. Now, Project 2025 is a very in-depth document, and it really covers, I think, what they call like the seven mountain strategy, which includes getting highly influential Christian nationalists and far right individuals across many areas or sectors of society, like education, like government. But anyway, so in regarding the post office, yeah, to be conservative let's say in a good way, definitely I would, if you don't have to mail in your vote, walk into a precinct or drop it in a drop box. Yeah, that's good advice. 70, my daughter Laura died at age 42 from cancer. I'm curious, who determines the date of your death in an upcoming life? Is it your angels, guides, or is it negotiated by you? So it's a bit of all the above. When we come down here, we lay out our life path blueprint, what we intend to accomplish, who we're going to accomplish it with, and part of that is your exit point because all of our life paths interconnect. So when anyone leaves the planet or even arrives at the planet, you affect many souls, many individuals around you, doctors, family members, friends, colleagues. So even in with the fact that your exit point is part of your blueprint is also in a way tangentially part of a lot of the blueprints around you, your family members, friends, doctors that may assist you. But yeah, you actually it's all part, they call it negotiate, but you agree on a life path blueprint before you come down, and then you come down with a basic group of angels and guides first. 69. Hi, Sterling and team. What does your team see about the 50-minute cities? When will they become a reality? So, like in France, Spain, and Australia, they're already starting to be a reality. And 15-minute cities are kind of the concept that everything you need in your life, your job, education, work, friends, all within 15 minutes. So everything is kind of much more centralized. As humanity kind of moves forward, all across the world, the type of concept of 50-minute cities are going to be much more inherently built in to society. But they're already around here. I said, was it France, Spain, Australia? 68. Are humans the petulant toddlers in the universe, all other beings so much more evolved than humans? Well, yes, I mean, Homo sapiens sapiens are behind the millions of years of evolution a lot of extraterrestrials have gone through. But that's okay. Earth is a school. That's where you elevate yourself. You learn about, the balance between love and fear. And yeah, so, in some respects, a lot of society is still trying to understand how to work with each other, how to respect each other, how to love each other. You look what's happening with LGBTQ plus IA, women, reproductive rights. Yeah, so in a way, the petulant toddler is probably not a bad description when you compare with the evolution of a lot of other entities in the universe. 67, hello, Sterling and team. What do your guides say about love and how it was created? Recently, I listened to a channeler whose ascended master guide stated that love is Earth's greatest invention created by us about 5,000 years ago. Love was never known to spirit, never known to your soul prior to love being experienced first on Earth. The galactic beings are fascinated by this love, want to come here to find out about this very unique attribute that they don't have. I'll tell you that in all kindness, there's no truth to any of these assertions. At the very beginning, or the one source, the one force is all about love. Love has always been around the universe and Earth, and the only two energies that drive the entire universe are love and fear. It's been around from the very beginning. A lot of extraterrestrials already understand love very well. There's an evolution happening here on Earth, and Earth is more like a laboratory. So that's why a lot of extraterrestrials like interacting here. But no, the fact that love didn't exist and it was invented 5,000 years ago, not correct. No truth to those assertions. 66. Do you see Democrats taking the House and the Senate in November? Yes, and I've indicated this a number of times, number of shows. It does look like they're going to take a majority in both the House and the Senate when the election is over in November. 65. Hello, Sterling and team. I know you have said previously that 45 will flee the country. Do you think one of the things Judge Mercan will do is take away his passport at his sentencing? If so, and he leaves, isn't his pilots and anyone else that goes with him in trouble for aiding a criminal? I've always seen the scenario is that when 45 eventually does leave, it'll be under the guises of a business trip and something maybe related to golf, like the leave golf. But that's kind of how the exit happens. And I don't see the passport being compromised. And a lot of people talked about that, but it looks like they're still going to give him access to a passport. So I think that's how that's going to play out. 64, will there be a positive treatment without side effects for osteoporosis sooner rather than later? Well, the biggest benefits and the things coming here medically will be based on gene editing technology, CRISPR, for many things like osteoporosis. So, you're within about 10-year span here before new CRISPR technologies get developed and vaccines, medications that help regrow, bone, right? So I'm again not a doctor here, but something about cell regeneration, bone regrowth. That's all going to be attributable to new gene editing CRISPR technology coming. 63, Sterling, a world famous domesticated emotional support alligator named Wally, was taken while on vacation with his owner. He has much love. He was much loved by his family, admirers across the world. Will he ever be found and returned safely? Yeah, actually, I get Wally's in custody. There's another family or another group that has Wally right now, but they don't understand who he is or these emotional support animals. So, actually, within a short time period, within a month or two here, it looks like he'll be returned. It looks like he escaped or something. Why this individual was on vacation, his owner. But it looks like he's coming back, and it looks like I'm gonna give you a few months, but it looks like maybe more like 1 to 2 months. Wally will be found and retrieved. 62. Hello, Sterling and team. There's been much in the press about the Democratic governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, becoming the potential new rising star of the Democratic Party. Do you see him running for presidency at some point? I do see him running for president within about 4 years, but looks like he'll be in a field of like a dozen candidates. It doesn't look he'll win presidency, but looks like he'll throw his hat in the ring in terms of an election process. 61. There's talk about Germany working on nuclear fusion. Will they succeed to create unlimited energy? Will Germany invent something that helps change the world? All countries are working on different degrees of nuclear fusion as opposed to nuclear fission, which is what we're using now, the separation of atoms creating energy. Fusion has to do with a combination of atoms at the quantum level creating energy. Now, cold fusion is the big breakthrough here that's coming. Now, that's a few decades away, but the whole world is working on nuclear fusion technologies. And I don't see Germany. I do see Japan, actually India, US, many other countries are going to have big breakthroughs in the nuclear fusion area, and then eventually cold fusion. So not to get too technical, but we've covered that in a few shows here. 60, Sterling and team. Has our moon always been in orbit around the planet, or was it brought here by others? If so, why? It was placed there millions of years ago by extraterrestrials, right? So there was actually a way station millions of years ago, is how it got there. And the world's only beginning to understand what's inside the moon and how it's being utilized by a lot of extraterrestrial groups, even for some surveillance in a good way to monitor nuclear activity here on Earth. 59, Sterling, do we have anything to be concerned about from Roger Stone and October surprise right before the election? I get going to try to create some chaos in some selected cities. It could even be, yeah, I want to be careful what I say here, but some chaos in certain cities, but it'll all be tamped down quickly by military and FBI. So yeah, there's some, I won't call it risk, but there's some chaos that's going to try to be created, but it won't be successful. 58. Hi, Sterling. Can humans reincarnate as different ET species or beings, or do we always reincarnate as humans? Well, many Homo sapiens sapiens, we all start out as star seeds, right? So some did start out as extraterrestrials and they can go back to becoming extraterrestrial. But by and large, a lot of individuals that didn't start out as extraterrestrial were started as star seeds, a little bit different. But those that may have not been extraterrestrial early in life, millions of years ago, may not really, I don't really see them going back to becoming extraterrestrial. I see more of the ETs getting into Homo sapien sapien sort of bodies at one point, then reincarnating back, but less if you start out as Homo sapien sapien. So it has a lot to do with kind of your originating life path, where you started out. 57, hi Sterling and team. Approximately 58 years ago, my military family and I were living in Denison, Texas. During that time, I woke up and saw three small grays that were working on something and one taller, slimmer gray with them. I got the impression that the taller gray seemed to be directing them. I was scared and yelled out at them to leave my bedroom, never come back. The small grays ignored me, but the tall gray looked straight at me and then went back to what she was doing, he or she was doing. Was this real? If so, what were they doing? I'm getting this as a lucid dream on your part, which is kind of like a dream within a dream. It's like being in a half waking state. So, no, this wasn't actually, I don't see this as being an extraterrestrial interaction, but my team's saying it was a lucid dream. 56, is California going to suffer a significant earthquake in the next couple of years? Well, yes. I mean, we've been talking about a lot of 6 and 7 Richter scale earthquakes happening around the entire West, California included. And we had some big earthquakes the last few years, starting out in 2019. Yeah, there's a few good shakers, but the good news is the shakers, they relieve some of the pent up compression energy with a lot of tectonic plates. So it helps alleviate some of the pent up forces that would cause even more massive quakes. So, yeah, I do see a lot of 6 and 7s, 6.8, 7.2s, 7.7s. Uh huh. 55. Hello, pardon me. Hello, Sterling. I'm 67 years old. When I was about 3 or 4 years old, I was sleeping in the attic with my three older half sisters and was awakened by what looked like about 6 or 7 fairies floating, dancing, and doing cartwheels. Each one was a different color of the rainbow and were surrounded by brilliant glowing light like orbs. All these years, I wondered if what I saw was real fairies or was it just a dream? Yeah, you experience actually what are called elementals. Many different types of elementals. It's they actually exist in the spiritual dimension, but you actually did experience some elementals. Yeah, and they're all around us. They're more protective. They're more regionally based elementals. But yeah, it looks like you actually did experience it. It's real. 54, greetings, Sterling. Celine Dion has been diagnosed with a rare disease called stiff person syndrome, SPS, which prevents her from performing. Do you see CRISPR technology being able to cure her? Is she aware of this? So, I mean, I have no idea whether Celine is aware of gene editing, CRISPR technology, but yes, this is one of the areas that gene editing is going to be helpful. It's still a good 10 years out, could be as much as 12 years out for this syndrome. But my team is talking, I'm not a doctor, but my team is talking about the mutation of certain genes and cells in the body that kind of create that disease. And it does look like about 10 years, 10 to 12 years here. Now, Celine, if she's listening, she could raise her hand for some early research because there's a lot of different groups around the world working on different facets of gene editing technology, and I'm confident there are individuals working groups working on stiff person syndrome. So you can raise your hand all the time for some early trials. So I do see benefit coming for her. 53. Hello, Sterling. I've been wondering if 45's wife was his Russian watcher. As I've been told, there was no love involved with the marriage. Did Putin make this happen? For entertainment purposes only. I've read on this a few times, but I also saw that she has kind of the role of what I call a Russian handler. So there's some sort of backdoor communication going on with offshore entities, and actually she performed the role and is still performing the role of what I call a handler. Okay. 52. Hello, Sterling and team. Carbon credits are permits that allow the holder to emit a certain amount of carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases with one credit. They are part of a market-based approach to controlling pollution by providing economic incentives for reducing emissions. My question is, could reimagining the use of carbon credits pose a risk of being used to unjustly seize individual businesses' assets in the future, as some critics have warned? No, I don't see the use of carbon credits leading to the seizure of businesses. What I do see is a bit of a shift towards what I'll call like substantial or substantive fines for businesses that don't comply with certain emission level requirements. So I don't see the carbon credits leading to the seizure of businesses, no. But also, my teams also remind me, looks like there'll be incentive programs. So not just penalties, but government will incentivize individuals. So if you meet certain, a reduction in greenhouse gases, there'll be incentives like tax holidays or something going on there that's going to help corporations. 51, hello, Sterling and team. A new mirrored monolith has just appeared last weekend by a hiking trail on the northern side of Las Vegas near the Gas Peak Trail, which is about 16 miles north of Las Vegas and part of the Desert National Wildlife Refuge. What is this and how to get there? What's its purpose, or is it a hoax? This is a large scale hoax put on by some very wealthy individuals. It's more or less a massive art project. And they've been doing it for many years now. It's all over the world. Kind of neat to see. They do a really good job of creating these monoliths and placing them. And, you can use Google Earth to see where they are. But this is more of a large scale art project slash hoax done by some very wealthy individuals. 50, hello, Sterling and team. Will John Ossoff, one of Georgia's U.S. senators, win re-election? He's a brilliant young man. And if he does not win his race, will President Biden ask him to join his administration? I get he's going to win re-election, but not be part of the Biden administration. So it looks like he's going to win re-election and be quite busy as a result of that. 49, hello, Sterling. I'm getting really worried about Southern California. People will vote locally for red candidates, so there will be no accountability for criminals. Crime is a big issue in California, mainly theft of all kinds and home robberies, stores, malls, vehicles, porch pirates, etc. People are sick of it. I'm afraid they will see the voting red will stop this from happening. Will crime of this type go down? I see California, if you ask me, will primarily vote blue, will be very blue, and the new funding coming to try to combat some of this theft that's going on. I always saw that in the retail area, they were going to start to use what they call gated systems so that you almost have to walk through a double door entrance to be able to get in and out of certain retail or malls, and that those double gated entries would lock down if there was like a massive store theft going on. There are things coming here, investment that'll be made, but I don't see a lot of what this person's asking about shifting California away from being blue. This looks like it's going to be very blue to me in terms of voting. 48. Sterling, do you see anything fishy about Don Jr., Tucker Carlson, Matt Gaetz, Utah Senator Mike Lee, and Kimberly Guilfoyle visit to El Salvador's present? Well, for entertainment purposes only, they're looking for potential escape routes and colleagues and people they can collaborate with in order to kind of either get out of town fast, get out of Dodge, so to speak, fast, and ways that they can leverage other types of resources around the world. So whether this is oil resources or something going on here also about funneling money. So yeah, there's a number of topics here that aren't really that they didn't want out in primetime media. But that's absolutely one of the reasons they went down there. Absolutely. Okay, 47, the countdown. Hello, Sterling. Yesterday, I got a call from my brother who asked me if I had heard about an extraterrestrial spaceship 2 miles underneath the Sphinx. I told him I had not heard about many things buried underneath it, but hadn't heard that. So my question, is there an ET spaceship buried 2 miles below the Great Sphinx? No, I don't get there's a large ET ship below the Sphinx. There's a number of very large chambers and tunnels underneath the Sphinx, and there's a lot of Hall of Records and some tombs have been discovered. But I don't get there's a large extraterrestrial ship under the Sphinx. There's many around the world that are buried in parts of Latin America and North Pole, Antarctica. but not under the Sphinx. 46, hello, Sterling. Oh, by the way, reminding me, Skinwalker Ranch in northern Utah also has a very large spaceship underneath the mesa. 46, hello, Sterling. I just lost my dog, Ruby, after 15 years. I was with her at the vet until the end. Was she aware of what was happening? Also, I was wondering if dogs have had NDEs and what their crossing is like when they go. So they have very similar crossings to humans. They actually have guardian angels or birth angels. They are guided across. They're from the angelic realm. They have a wonderful experience crossing. Yeah, so I know some people talk about the Rainbow Bridge, and my team's never seen that. They actually move across just like the way humans do in a very spiritual, guided way. As far as near-death experiences, yes, they can have NDEs if they, for some reason, if during their life path they die or brought back to life. Animals can have NDEs, absolutely. Yeah, it's all part of a kind of evolution of the species, even animals. 45. Hi, Sterling. You say we all cross over, but why do we have prankster spirits? If they cross over to a beautiful place of love, why would they come back down to haunt people? So remember, energetically, we're all evolving. Every time you come down here for reincarnation, you're evolving. Some people choose not to evolve that much. So we all cross over. But if you're not, let's say, if you're not really willing to increase your level of understanding and love in the universe and help others and look out for the best, you kind of reside in a lower level energy. There's no hell, there's no devil, but you reside in a much lower level energy. And so that can usually be part of the problem. So they're not stuck here, but they will come back. And just like I kind of refer in a funny way to fraternity brothers or sorority sisters, they may like to have a good time. They're willing to have a good time and they're willing to kind of scare you if that's what you want to experience, like when you're going through haunted houses and whatnot. But they're not stuck here. And the other point is that there are low level spirits, but they still want to interact with people that have lower level energy. So it's good to, as a footnote, when you're kind of immersed in depression, anxiety, you attract that kind of low level energy. 44. Hi, Sterling and team. Will Senator Whitehouse's referral to the IRS regarding Clarence Thomas possibly not claiming all his gifts as income lead to big IRS problems for Thomas? Will it cause him to retire or leave the court? Well, not just as one problem, but many problems coming up for Clarence Thomas. Many issues coming up. So it won't just be the one, it'll be a bit of a cavalcade. 43, will the Boeing spacecraft return Earth safely? It's having problems at the space station. It's gonna return safely after some major significant repairs. So right now they're downplaying, I think, some of the helium leaks. I'm getting there's some more significant repairs coming up in space before coming back. It'll eventually come back safe, but this, by the way, weeks ago, I was pointing to additional Boeing problems as a company and also having leadership step down from Boeing. It looks like their CEO is going to step down to me. But yeah, these are continuing problems for Boeing, not just with aircraft, but with spacecraft. 42, Sterling, will our country divide not by civil war, but because of environmental, financial, and social changes after the next election occurs? I dreamt about this a few nights ago. Well, it's already in some respects divided, right? There's two extremes going on right now in the country, if we're talking about the US. Fortunately, kind of the more extreme, I'll call it the MAGA element, is reducing day by day in size. But we already do have kind of a big divide that's going to get healed over the next number of years. It's true. Big progress in the next administration, right? The next 4-year term where Biden will be president. There'll be more things happening there that will kind of bring the nation together. But in some respects, we're already divided right now. 41. Will the anticipated 2028 Republican president pardon 45 and associates of all crimes? Yeah, I've talked about this before. I do see in 2028 there being a Republican president, but become more moderate. But no, I don't see them pardoning 45 and all the associates. 40, hello, Sterling. Will Governor William Lee of Tennessee lose his seat in his next election? Will Tennessee ever turn purple? I do see he'll lose his seat in the next election, and I do see that area of Tennessee starting to lean more purple. It's going to take a good 4 or 5 years here before it really starts to come blue. But I do see this individual, Governor William Lee, losing his seat in the next election. whenever, to be clear, whenever the next election cycle is for him. So I don't know if it could be in November. 39, do you see 45 children being in prison for their crimes? Yes, primarily Don Jr. It looks like a lot of the other children, a lot of the other 45's kids are going to escape actual jail time. But for some reason, I've always seen Don Jr. will serve some prison time. 38, good day, Sterling and team. In Canada, each province is responsible for their own healthcare system. In the province of Quebec, the government has started implementing some changes and some major ones. Despite these changes, we are far more a simplistic system. Will the government ever achieve a more simple system? And if so, when? This is talking about, let me just refresh Canada, each province is responsible for their own healthcare. Province of Quebec, the government has started implementing some changes and some major ones. Despite these changes, we are far more simplistic system. Um, Whatever's going on here in terms of the asking about Quebec, it looks like it's going to take till the end of the decade before it gets much simpler. Sounds like what they're saying is it's somewhat simple right now, but it looks like it's going to get even more simple. But it's like a good decade out. 37. Hello, Sterling and team. There has been a lot of talk regarding microplastics and nanoplastics in our bodies and waters and soils. Microplastics can go through cell membranes, potentially causing damage at a cellular level. In the future, will we find a way to rid our bodies and the earth of these microplastics and nanoplastics? Will there be a substitute for plastic in general? Well, I see actually a lot of new biodegradable plastics. I'll call them plastics, but they're biodegradable hybrid substances are coming. And many of them built out of plants or plant life is coming. And so that's going to be replacing plastics. And I do see within a number of years here, we will have medications. They'll be able to essentially flush at a cellular level some of the plastic contamination. This could take years and years to develop here, but this is all part of what's on the blueprint for science coming forward here. So the changes will be made, but it's going to take some time here. But a kind of an aggressive effort towards coming up with new biodegradable types of substances that will replace plastic. 36, high Sterling and team. My kids that are now in their 30s are concerned that Social Security funds will dry up before they're eligible to retire and collect it. What do you see for the future Social Security system? Will it be protected? Yeah, I do see it being protected, but it'll only be because a number of corporate minimum tax regulations are going to come into place. It's one of the most significant elements there. We've seen a lot of large major corporations pay zero tax, at least here in the US. So there's going to be some big changes going forward here. I know that's always a big fight between Democrats and Republicans, corporate tax versus reducing tax rates. But I do see, and I've seen this for a long time, some very substantive minimum tax rates for corporations coming into play at a minimum like 15%, 15%. And what that's going to do is that's going to generate a lot of the income revenue the federal government needs to support programs, long-term like Social Security. So I do see this. It's got a bright future. Everybody hang in there. 35, high Sterling and team. It seems organized religions of any sect acknowledge a God, great spirit, higher power. How did any religion come into human consciousness and begin? So, for millions of years, there's been a lot of what I'll call prophets on the earth, people that were highly connected to the other side, psychic mediumship. They're very connected. So they brought through a lot of information. And, humanity in its way, took a lot of this information and, tried to, let's say, change part of it, interpreted it maybe not correctly, and really put controls in it. So, what was meant to be kind of information coming from a higher realm of the way the universe works got a little bit polluted, if you will, by individuals wanting to create controls using religion for control. Go back through history, you'll see a lot of that. So I think the question is they acknowledge, God, greater spirit, higher power, but that religion came in through the conjunct of a lot of prophets on the planet, bringing through information, and then somehow putting that into a construct that was a little controlling. That's where a lot of the religions came from. 34, high Sterling and team. People talk about orbs and photos. What does your team say orbs are? They're almost always spiritual entities. They can be family members, ascended masters, pets, Um, and usually the size and color have a lot to do with what you're looking at. So smaller orbs, maybe younger souls. The larger orbs are a lot of times more evolved souls. Color is important too. So if they're more of the ultraviolet or white color, that's usually angelic or much higher vibrational energy. If they're, mid orange, mid red kind of a thing, it could be family members. Even sometimes pets come through as small orbs, but they're white in color. So yeah, it's all real. And if you have infrared camera technology, a lot of mobile phones you can see infrared. You can see orbs fairly well if you have some sort of infrared camera technology. 33, Sterling. Oh, my guy just reminding me that orbs are around us all the time. So a lot of family members come around us, a lot of angelic beings, pets and animals. They don't always show themselves as orbs, but usually a lot of them are around us. To show yourself as an orb from the other side takes a lot less energy than it does to say show yourself as a full-scale apparition. So just a footnote my team wanted to throw in there. 33, Sterling, what impact will Saudi Arabia moving off the US dollar have in the world's oil market? Have the US global, according to US global economy, does this lessen the political balance of power in Western democratic countries in the near future? No, actually, I see this helping to accelerate the move towards worldwide digital currency, right? So everybody's going to get to a worldwide digital currency, and that playing field will be much more level. So this is like a short-term move, by Saudi Arabia, meaning it's really going to accelerate the world moving towards digital currency. Everything happens for a reason. So I see a lot of this playing out over the next 3 to 4 years here. 32, will GOP Ronnie Jackson win re-election for Texas in the 13th district? Will he ever face accountability for handing out narcotics like candy during 45's White House term? I don't see him winning re-election, but I also don't see any real accountability for what whoever asked this question, referring to giving out medications like candy. For some reason, it looks like he never gets to accountability for that. It gets whitewashed somehow or washed away and some other things going on. I don't know what that's all about, but it looks like he won't win re-election though. 31, how soon will cancer vaccines be available to save lives, and will AI cause a cure to be found very soon? Well, there's actually gene editing, CRISPR technology right now already affecting successfully pancreatic cancers, some types of breast cancer. We're already seeing advances made. And in fact, you can Google this easily and you'll see some of the articles. We've posted them on our community board under Hot Off the Press as well. But by and large, over the next 5 to 10 years here, a lot of CRISPR technology is going to go after cancer. That's one of the biggest focuses right now for thousands of companies working with CRISPR technology. Many of the cancers, pancreatic cancer, breast cancer, types of brain cancer, as well as things like Alzheimer's. So we're actually already on the cusp. Now, AI technology, the beauty of that, as a tool, you can actually translate data from trillions of transactions, very large databases, and look for relationships, ways to kind of educate yourself, that is, scientists using AI technology to look at a lot of different diagnostics, trillions of pieces of data, and then coming up with faster answers. So AI is definitely very helpful in that area, artificial intelligence. 30, do you see Andrew Cuomo getting back into politics? Yes, actually, with the next few years here, 2, 3 years, and I've always seen he's going to come back around again and get into politics. 29, I was listening to another spiritual reader on another podcast. I heard the voice of their guide giving them a word to say in their reading as they were struggling to find the right word to explain a card that came up in the tarot deck. They paused to acknowledge their guide for the word, then said the word a few seconds later in their explanation of the card. Why did I hear their guide when I can't hear my own? What can I do to hear my guides in the same manner? Well, this is all based on a level of clairaudience that we all have. We're all born with. We're all born with psychic mediumship ability. When you're at a basic level or basic stage of clairaudient ability, you'll hear rushes of thought. Could be rushes of thought from somebody else, your team. So you have kind of a baseline skill there, which you can develop. I always think the best way to do it, I developed a technique some 30 years ago of sitting down with a journal and a pen for 5 minutes a day for 2 weeks minimum, and no meditation required, but ask your angels and guides to please step forward, ask them to reveal any message that they have, create one question you want an answer to. Don't change the question. But what that does is that effectively works your mind muscles. So when you first start off the homework, you're not going to get an answer. Make up the answer right away. That pushes your creative mind muscle. It's the innovation section of the brain that connects with the universe, that connects with your guides. So you heard you have a baseline level of clairaudience, but you can develop that gift. 28. Hi, Sterling. Several channelers and people within the UAP community believe that a global contact event will happen in 2027. Some very concerned about how that will play out. Your guys have any insights as to how our ET friends will contact us or appear? I've been talking about this for 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, we were right on the cusp of a great, what I call revelation. A lot of extraterrestrials are already here working on Earth and coming back and forth. There'll be a great reveal, just like there was in ancient Egypt and other parts of Asia, if you look back thousands of years ago. But it's all coming, a grand revelation. It's coming very shortly here, and it's going to go quite well. Everybody will be introduced to hybrids. The first introduction will be to hybrids, and then eventually lean into actually seeing true forms of extraterrestrials. A lot of us see them anyway right now. So if you're already working with extraterrestrials, you see them. But the rest of the world will be introduced to hybrids first, combination of Homo sapien sapien and ET DNA, and they're already here working on the planet. So it's a gradual introduction, but it's all going to go quite well. 27. Sterling, do prankster spirits steal things? Family photos, a wedding album, a cell phone, jewelry have vanished without a trace. I live alone, so how can these things just vanish? I've had paranormal occurrences happen at every place I've ever lived as an adult, and some it was very confusing. Well, yeah, actually, prankster spirits can hide things. It's a game, and there's actually thousands, if not millions, of registered cases around where, let's say, a set of keys was missing, and somebody left the room. They came in the next morning, and the keys were on the counter. So, yeah, they absolutely can move things around. They do it in a playful way. If it's getting annoying, ask them to leave. Ask your primary angels and guides to step in, ask them to kindly leave, that you're kind of being an annoyance. But yeah, prankster spirits can play pranks, move things around. 26. Do you see a cure for cystic fibrosis in the future? Here again, this is like caused by mutations of certain genes or cells. This all falls into what's happening around the work with CRISPR worldwide. Again, like within a decade, everybody amazed at how many medications are going to be coming forward here. But with cystic fibrosis, it looks like that's one of them within a decade. So actually within 10 years, we're going to start to see some nice medications coming forward. Now, remember, there's always an evolution. The first drugs will be somewhat helpful, and then they'll evolve, they'll get refined. 25. Hello, Sterling. Scientists are warning of a catastrophic earthquake tsunami off the U.S. northwest coast at some point. When will this happen? Well, we're going to see a lot of ongoing earthquakes. I think we talked about this earlier, a lot of 6 and 7s. I don't see any 8, Richter scale 8 on the West Coast or creating tsunami. There are going to be some tsunamis, some water events created by large tectonic plate shifts off the coast. But as far as I think this person asking about a catastrophic earthquake, yeah, I mean, we've got the San Andreas fault that's going to shift here over the next 1 to 2 years. The timing is coming up here. A lot of infrastructure problems, but yeah, I don't catastrophic meaning the end of civilization or something. I don't see that, but we're going to have some large quakes to contend with and some tsunamis as a result. By the way, my team just remind me, they're going to be warning. We'll have advanced warning systems in place, so that's going to mitigate a lot of the disaster, a lot of the loss of life. 24, Sterling and team. Other than generally resting, healing, even socializing with others on the other side, or watching over our loved ones down here on Earth, what are some of the examples of growing, enhancing, creative activities that are spiritual, intellectual, and or emotionally elevating that we can do in our life on the other side? Well, I see a lot of people stepping outside themselves on the other side. What I mean is helping animals, helping suicide victims cross over, almost like helpful gatherers of people and animals crossing over. I do see a lot of that when people cross over. They also spend time moving around the universe, moving around the world, moving around Earth, areas they never seen before. So call it travel. But a large contingent of individuals either try to help individuals crossing over, animals, human beings, other family members. And also they get involved in sometimes science and health areas, and even natural disaster areas. So trying to help send messages to people on Earth to be careful, sending out warning messages. So they get active in a number of ways. You actually do have a plethora of things you can do on the other side to help elevate yourself, occupy your time, be helpful. Okay, 23 in the countdown. Hi, Sterling. Can you please explain more in detail how to ask for white light protection? I know you said there are no curses, but I just watched a psychic medium on YouTube say that the white light protects you from psychic attacks and curses. Well, a simple request to stand in supreme protective white light is usually all that's necessary. You can add, if there are any spirits here that are not of the light, be cast back into the light. Don't come back to this location. So, the reason you would do something like that, not because there's curses or they're evil or the devil, when you do any kind of spiritual work, you look like a flashlight to the other side. So a lot of spirits come running. So that's a good, simple, protective white light prayer is all it's necessary to say, look, if you're not of the light, just move away. Don't come around because I'm only interested in talking with my guides, angels, family members, those that can help me and assist me. So a very simple prayer, but yeah, it has nothing to do with curses or psychic attacks or anything like that. 22, hi Sterling and team. I have a question about contact from my dad from the other side. I was approaching my parents' road when my navigation system alerted me to a hazard ahead. The graphic showed it exactly at the road, but there was no hazard whatsoever. At that exact moment, the song playing referred to a dad loving his daughter's choice of a partner. I also sense him when I see eagles. They often soar above my car and when my kitchen lights flicker. He was an electrician. Are all of these comforting signs really from him or my wishful thinking? Now, these are all absolutely very deliberate signs from your father trying to connect with you, right? Because it was your father, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, this is, what's interesting is that our loved ones work very hard from the other side to get our attention, let them know that they're okay. So absolutely, I validate for you that this is absolutely your father trying to get through to you. 21. Hello, Sterling and team. I was watching a show where they were at an old LA County hospital. We're talking to people who experienced evil things. The hospital complained about lots of neglect, lots of unnecessary death, patients and staff going crazy, killing people. I know you say there's no evil spirits or entities, so can you explain what's going on there? Well, a lot of times you can have residual energy in a location, which can create distress, depression. That's all very true. Everything that happens is related to our life path. So it's not evil things causing people to die unnecessarily. It's all part of a very larger life path that we're all involved in, including a unique life path. But there is residual energy in environments that can induce or create negative feelings, depression, anger. That's all very true. So, but there's nothing here that's evil that's driving that. It's related to life path purpose and a lot of energy that's in that space that's making things difficult. 20. Hello, Sterling. I take care of my parents' grave and notice two men usually sitting on a bench nearby. One day I was leaving and I decided to take a route around the cemetery that my dad and I used to take. I heard a voice very clearly saying, don't drive. I'm sorry, drive, don't walk. I listened to it and got in the car. As soon as I sat down, I heard it again. Lock the doors. I did. When I got to a stop sign down the street, I looked to turn. I was surprised to see a man on a bike beside my door. 2 days later in the news, a woman was brutally attacked and left for dead in the same area. The man arrested was the same man on the bike and always sitting on that bench. Please, who saved me that day? And was I the target as they always watch me? Well, this is a great example of birth angels stepping in to help you. Now, sometimes family members will do that, but birth angels, their job's to keep you on the planet. So that was a birth angel interaction telling you to do that. And no, you weren't the target. It wasn't on your life path. You know, we don't get off the planet. There's no exit point unless it really is your exit point. So, but these are birth angels helping to steer you the right direction. 19. Hello, Sterling and team. Guns will be permitted at the GOP convention in Milwaukee. Will there be a shooting? I do see a few incidents involving some shooting, but I'm not going to call it a mass shooting. But I do see some incidents. Could be, conflicts between select individuals. But they're not showing me any kind of a mass shooting event. 18. Hi, Sterling and team. I love the special effects that are on your introduction videos. Do the ships of extraterrestrials really look like that, or are these just creative interpretations? Also, they prefer to be called something like other than ETs. Um, they actually like the term extraterrestrials, not necessarily aliens. So they like ETs or extraterrestrials, what they're normally. And yeah, a lot of the motherships you're seeing on those renderings on our introduction videos are, in a way, realistic of the way many of the motherships look like for many extraterrestrial species. So it's all very purposeful as part of an introduction, if you will, kind of get everybody comfortable and familiar. 17. Hello, Sterling and team. Will Bill Barr ever be held accountable for his actions during 45's term? No, unfortunately, I don't see any major legal action coming his direction. It looks like it'll be some sort of part of the negotiation. I'm not going to call it a pardon, but some sort of like give and take with the federal government. So I don't see any major legal action coming his direction. 16, dear Sterling and team, I was recently listening to another well-respected psychic medium, and she mentioned the pandemic was a plandemic. Is this true? No, I mean, I've actually always seen that the COVID pandemic, COVID itself, in terms of the virus, has been in nature for thousands of years. It's only on the Earth's life path that it crossed over. So it wasn't a plandemic. It actually was naturally occurring in nature, part of an Earth cycle. As how it crossed over to humans. So don't see if that was something that was planned necessarily, meaning human intervention, purposely, move that, create in a laboratory. So that's what my interpretation of plandemic, though. But it was naturally occurring in nature. I've run this a number of times and then crossed over into Homo sapiens sapien. 15, how do we actually put our light out into the world? Is it just through prayer and intent, or is there a physical manifestation of it? How do we know we're doing it right? Well, you're never doing it wrong. It's all based on pure intention. So everything starts with your intention, your thoughts, who you are, how you align to your guides and angels. Starts with intention, and then as you lean into intention, you're actually directed in the flow of life of how to help. So listen for, they call that still small inner voice of how to direct. Prayer is always very beneficial, sending love and light, white light around the world, people in your family, people you have conflict with. But that's the best way to send your love and light out into the world. 14. Sterling, you often talk about the millions of earth angels on the planet. Since they are in human form, are they aware of their divine purpose, or they just feel a strong compulsion to help? No, they're all aware of what their mission in life is. They're highly evolved souls, hundreds of reincarnations, and they're aware of what their responsibility is to help. So they're more like real-time psychic mediums. They're always turned on. And I know a lot of individuals like that are completely always turned on, and they hear the call. It's like a radio call. They know where to go to help. But they're very aware of their kind of highly evolved characteristic and what they're here to do. They're helpers in the universe. 13, Sterling, you mentioned 45 will flee the U.S. Is there any chance the DOJ is aware he is making the plan to leave and allow it? Yeah, I've talked about this before. I've always seen that in the end, various factions of the federal government will allow it to happen. They'll actually never admit it in public. It's more like allowing a problem to go away rather than if they think prison time for 45 would cause all sorts of other issues with other factions of the population. I've always seen that in respect, it's almost like the Nixon pardon, right? When Ford pardoned Nixon, even a lot of people took issue with that. They thought it was the best way to handle it for the nation. There's some degree of truth in the way this is going to be handled with 45. 12, hi Sterling. Will 45 leaving the US, like for a Leave Golf event and staying away permanently, negatively impact how MAGA regards him? No, I don't see it having a negative effect on the way the MAGA contingent looks at him. They'll look at him as a martyr. So no real effect. 11. Hello, Sterling and friends. In regards to the 1969 landing on the moon, did the United States really land men on the moon? The Van Allen belt had to be maneuvered through and other obstacles. Therefore, did the U.S. have the technology to get through the Van Allen belt safely in the 60s? Yeah. So like the Van Allen belt is actually created by the sun. It's like a large magnetic field and that affects the earth. But what I'm getting is that there's some sort of a way to navigate it, like maybe 2% of the time or 5% of the time, there's a way to navigate through it. So yeah, it was all real. They actually navigated the Van Allen belt, but they were able to do it in a way like in a window of time, right? So it didn't cause any catastrophic failure. 10, will the antiquated electoral college be abolished? Yes, by the year, it's not going to be by 2032, but it could be a little faster than that because there'll be some things happening here in the next 4 years, which puts away 2024 to 2028, like big inroads made to get rid of the electoral college, but then something about another level of getting rid of it, moving to the popular vote that also gets created by the year 2032. So it's going to happen fast, but they're telling me it's like almost like two stages of moving from away from the electoral college to a popular vote. 9, hi Sterling and team. The new SAVE student loan payment program doesn't allow Parent Plus borrowers to utilize this program. Do you see any changes in this situation? For many of us, using the program would greatly reduce our monthly payments. Yeah, no, it appears there's some sort of like a double consolidation plan coming or something happening with the way loans are restructured. So there's something advantageous here coming with Parents Plus, is what they called it, Parent Plus borrowers, to like reconfigure the loan so it could take advantage of like the SAVE program. So yeah, it's coming here. There's a lot of people working behind the scenes making this happen. I do see this happening. Absolutely. Okay, 8 in the countdown. It appears that judges from Texas strike down laws like Obamacare and some other pro democracy abortion rights laws that are in the best interest of people in the U.S., particularly women. Will Texas judges continue to attempt to strike down like Obamacare, abortion rights, IVF policies, and laws, and bring issues to the Supreme Court in general with the agenda to strike down the laws permanently? Will the government or Democratic ruled Congress create any federal laws to protect activists, right wing Republican judges, and Texas, other red Republican states from doing this? I do see at a state level, a lot of the Texas judges are going to continue to keep slinging mud at the wall, so to speak, and try to take away rights. So in Texas, a lot of judges are still going to continue this years to come. I do see new federal guidelines coming to kind of protect those rights. So it'll be a bit of a battle, but with the federal regulations, it looks like they'll be protective of reproductive rights. They're talking about IVF here, Obamacare. By the way, other new healthcare systems coming over the next couple of years here that'll like enhance Obamacare and even make it available in a greater way with greater benefits. Yeah, so the simple answer here is Texas judges will continue to sling mud at the wall, try to, detract and move everybody backwards in terms of rights, but new federal guidelines coming up here are going to protect people's rights. 7, Elon Musk's Tesla pay package was rescinded by Judge Kathleen McCormick of Delaware's Court of Chancery in January. Last week, Musk's shareholders approved his second recently submitted pay package and approval for the move of Tesla headquarters to Texas. What do you see as the end result of this process? Will he successfully receive an approved pay package from Tesla? And will Tesla headquarters be moved to Texas? Well, the simple answer is, well, first off, the headquarters for Tesla are in Texas. What they're doing is they're moving the state of incorporation, I think, from Delaware to Texas. So headquarters is already in Texas for Tesla, but I do see the pay package being approved. So the direct answer is yes, pay package approved. And I do see the incorporation of Tesla being moved from the Delaware to Texas. 6, are all angels in the Bible multiple species often referred to as Pleiadians? Not necessarily. There are true angelic beings, but there are a lot of extraterrestrials that were referenced in the Bible, maybe not directly, but they weren't all Pleiadians. Some were Arcturans. Some came from many other star systems. So not all Pleiadian, but a mixture then of different ET species along with true angels. 5. Hi, Sterling. Last week I took 2 selfies with my daughter in her bedroom, both of us wearing silly sunglasses. In one photo, 2 entities can be clearly seen in the reflection of my daughter's glasses. In the second photo, taken 30 seconds later, a different 2 entities can be seen in the reflection of her glasses. There was no one else in the room with us at that time. Could you tell me who these entities are? I get their family members coming around to visit you. These are actually family members, female family members. They feel like several, like on the mother level, grandmother level, and almost a sister level here. This is interesting. I see 3 different like generations of female family members coming around here. I know you said 2, was it 2 entities, but I'm picking up 3. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but these were family members for you. 4, dear Sterling and team, when we send love and light out to the universe, is it felt by those that need it? Yes, completely. Always finds its way to the correct individuals. 3 in the countdown. Sterling, what is the future of Katie Porter? Will she be bringing her whiteboard to the White House to partake in an active role in the next administration or somewhere else, a job in high government, judicial position perhaps? Um, I never saw her taking, for example, like the position looks like Adam Schiff is going to win in California. Um, I do see her being offered a role in the White House. I do, in the second Biden administration. So there's some sort of a role. This could be like, I don't know, commerce or something. I don't know, commerce secretary. I don't know what that's all about. But don't see her winning like the congressional seat that Adam Schiff is going to win in California. But I do see her getting into the White House in some sort of an important instructive role in the Biden administration. It's true. And then, so number 2 and number 1 in the countdown, I always take notes before we start the session. So number 2, what do you see coming up next week? Another new planet discovery similar to Earth using the James Webb Telescope. So we got another interesting revelation coming up from the James Webb Telescope about another planet very similar to Earth. Look for the immunity case in the Supreme Court case coming down here very shortly. And I think it got delayed here slightly, but looks like this week we're going to see something coming down. And I do see it coming down in what they call a 3-tier approach. So it's almost like the Supreme Court is going to give some guidance and guidelines, but not completely define, giving 45 complete immunity in all the cases against them. Do not see that happening. I also see no one's going to be really satisfied with the Supreme Court decision. It looks like it's being a lot of passing the buck. Okay. New military support coming for Ukraine from the rest of the world, not just the U.S. New Putin sanctions from the U.S. and new uses of Russian oligarch funds to assist Ukraine. So additional oligarch funds coming into play here to help Ukraine. And last but not least, unfortunately, I am seeing another, looks like school-related shooting coming up. Now, I'm always reluctant to talk about these things, but what I want everybody to do is ensure when you hear this message, make sure you've taken all the safety precautions in your school. You know where all the locked doors are. I think that's probably one of the biggest things I see here is making sure the school is secure and the right doors are locked. So I think that's why my guides and angels would bring forth this kind of information. So everybody out there, be careful, be alert. Okay. And number 1, do you have anything your guides want to share? Trust the messages you receive from spirit and start to learn how to best use this information you receive in your life. So on that note, that concludes the show we're recording today for Sunday, June 23rd, 2024. As always, if you need to reach me, go to sterlingpsychicmedium.com, look for the Book a Session tab. Again, might be a few dates left in December, and then also January, February, and March of 2025. And if you'd like to join the Platinum membership and participate in the live member streams on Fridays, usually they're at 10 a.m. Pacific time zone on Fridays. You can join the Platinum membership, use the join button on the YouTube homepage, as well as our website, sterlingpsychicmedium.com. You can find a platinum membership join button there. Also gives you full access to several hundred videos up on our website. So, on that note, that concludes the show. Again, I'm going to send out goodwill and tremendous love to you and your families. Wonderful spending time together with everybody here. Take care. I will see you all again very soon.